Welcome to VMblog's coverage of IGEL Now Next, taking place in Miami, Florida at the Fontainebleau. Today I have the pleasure of having LG with us. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, good question to start out with. My name is Patrick Toner. So I'm with LG. I work alongside basically what we call the IT endpoint team. So we have a line of solutions we'll talk about today that kind of play into IGEL, which, we're at their conference, as well as some other things. So I actually, just a little bit about myself, how I ended up at LG. So I was a former customer in healthcare. So I worked in healthcare, Philadelphia market. I was looking for a solution to basically repurpose some of the devices I had, and somebody said, "Hey, you should look at that IGEL thing.
Yeah.
I hear that's pretty cool."
Right.
So I went, I found IGEL, became a big fan of it, customer, ended up joining IGEL as a sales engineer, worked there for about 4 years, had some things in there, and then eventually, moved to the Southeast, and LG was looking for a rep in the Southeast, and I'd been partnering with LG for many years, and it just seemed like a good move, so that's how I ended up coming on board LG, and the partnership's really strong. We've been doing some cool things, and yeah.
Well, maybe we can you can tell us a little bit about some of the specific products that you're showing here at IGEL.
Yeah. So if you come over to our booth, what you'll see is we have a lot of different devices, mostly in the all-in-one form factor. So LG, most people, it's funny, we come to these events, people will say to me, like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what are you, like, selling refrigerators or
Right.
TVs? And it's just a common thing I hear all the time when I go to the customer events. The cool thing with LG in the enterprise is we've been around a long time in the monitor space. So a lot of people use LG monitors, most of the time with an LG logo on them. We also, anything that's IPS, so whether it's any other manufacturer, if they're selling an IPS monitor, that's actually an LG technology. We make the glass, we manufacture a lot of that.
Right.
But most people, if they, let's say over the last 10 or 15 years, they've been using LG in the enterprise, it's with the monitors. Now how it kind of morphed into this partnership with IGEL, we first came to market with a zero client. So we have a partnership with Teradici around their zero client technology. And then we were approached by, I don't know who approached who first, but they said, hey, we should come to market with a thin client device. We know about this IGEL solution. It seems to be pretty popular. And I was working at IGEL at the time when that happened. There was another manufacturer that made an all-in-one. I won't name the manufacturer's name, but it did not go so well. And so at IGEL, we didn't want to work with any of the. We were approached about this LG 24-inch all-in-one. We're like, we don't want anything to do with that. So we pushed back, but it ended up being very successful. We had a couple of big accounts in healthcare and some other verticals that adopted it. It went very smoothly. And when I was with IGEL, I worked quite a bit with LG. The partnership really started to flourish, really before the IGEL Ready program existed, which we're a part of today. But LG was kind of that first hardware manufacturer that really latched on with IGEL and started to move a lot of different solutions. So I tell that story because a lot of what you see in our booth is going to be all-in-ones, right? We're birthed out of monitors into these all-in-one solutions. So we have your standard thin client, little box type, right. But where we are really different than everybody else is with the all-in-one offerings. We have multiple different sizes. We have a healthcare model with a built-in Imprivata reader that's very popular in healthcare. And so that's what you'll see. One last thing, I'm just kind of going off a little bit longer maybe on this answer, but we also have a lineup of laptops. So the LG Gram laptop is it's a growing business for us. All of our laptops are under 3 pounds, super lightweight, super sleek. So we also have a lineup of mobile thin clients. So those are the laptop form factors meant for IGEL that if you need that mobile use case, they're really a great fit, lightweight, durable, and great battery life. So,
Great. Well, there's been a lot of people talking about AI, and you said that these laptops that you have are AI ready, or?
That's right. Yeah. So we have a lineup of laptops. They're on our roadmap, right? That we're going to be having these AI powered processors. So everybody's kind of moving to that, right? Some people are obviously a little hesitant. Do you want that happening at the local level? Do you want there's all different questions we're asking, but yes, the Graham lineup, we just moved from the I series to the Ultra series. So we're heavily moving in that direction with AI powered chips for the laptops.
And I guess what other trends are you seeing in the EUC space that are affecting your product lines and stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're seeing some of the ones that come to top of mind, and really even the things we're kind of talking to with customers here today. We're seeing at LG, a lot of people are looking to. One of the things with laptops, this idea of a laptop docking station is kind of starting to go the way of the dodo bird, right? It's
right.
And listen, I say that as an old IT guy. I used to love, I won't name the brand. I had a brand I loved a lot, and you would latch that thing right in there. It worked great, but it takes up a lot of real estate, right? So one of the things we're seeing specifically with our monitors and our laptop offerings, we have what we call the docking monitors. So, at home I have one of these, and it's a beautiful solution. It's a 49-inch ultra wide. These come in all different sizes, 27, 24. And the idea is all of your peripherals are plugged into the monitor. So, I've got my headset plugged into this at home. I've got a webcam plugged in. Some of them have built-in webcams in the monitor. Whatever you would need, it's plugged into your monitor. And so when you come home, it's just nice, clean, one cable, USB-C. You plug it into your laptop. It does 90-watt charging, so it charges your laptop. It comes up on your monitor. All your peripherals are live, ready to go. Keyboard, mouse, whatever. And we're starting to see people really adopt that. It's more of we've had that for a while, but it's for whatever reason just now really starting to catch on. People want to have a cleaner desk, more real estate, less clutter,
easier hookup.
Right, one cable. It can't get better than that, right? So that's one trend that right away comes to mind. Another thing we're seeing is people are more portable, right? So even with this, people are doing things like hoteling. COVID obviously disrupted a lot of things, and we're still kind of working through that these years later. Aside from the docking monitors, which I just talked about, we're also seeing people that are just more portable, right? Work from home, hybrid. So they want to be able to take, let's say they work in an office and they have a docking monitor in there. They plug in, great. Well, now they go home. Maybe they're home 2 days a week. Maybe they're home 3, whatever. They have a hybrid schedule. Well, it's tough when you have multiple monitors and then you go to a laptop and you got one monitor.
Right.
It's a challenge. So we have a new product called the LG Gram View, which is a portable monitor, 16-inch portable monitor. Pairs perfectly with our Grams, really perfectly with our 16-inch Gram. And the cool thing is it's, again, one cable. Comes out of USB-C to USB-C, powers the monitor. You got a second screen, whether you're like guys like us on the road, in the hotel, you've got 2 screens now. Or if you're just at home, your kids come home from school, you got to change rooms, like things we all do now, right?
Right.
You kind of have that portability. So that's something I see there. One last thing I'll mention, on the cloud side. So with IGEL specifically, in healthcare, we're seeing a huge push with our healthcare all-in-one devices. So in healthcare, when you have these hardware refreshes, usually if you're going to try to move away from a fat client, move away from Windows to an IGEL, lockdown, secure device, you don't have to manage and patch and all these other things. Probably the two use cases that are the most low-hanging fruit are going to be the patient rooms, clinical rooms, and the carts. So we created this device. It's a healthcare all-in-one. It's medical certified. It means you can wipe it down with all the harsh chemicals and they like to use in healthcare.
Right.
And it won't turn yellow over time. It'll stay white. It's got a coating on it. It also has a power cable that screws in so that when nurses who tend to be a little rougher, as maybe you've seen, they're moving these things around, the power cables come out, now it's a support ticket. Hey, this thing's broken. Well, it's not broken, the power cable came out. So that, our power cable screws in, it stays in place. And the other thing with that is it has the RFID reader built into the bezel. So it's a big deal in healthcare, and a lot of times they're Velcroed onto something, and they're USB. That thing can come out, and again, it's just more support tickets, more headache for your support staff.
Right.
And so we're seeing our healthcare customers heavily adopt this concept, where they're putting these in the clinical rooms, on the carts, and the nurses and the doctors that are working with this, they absolutely love them. It's usually the nurses on the carts, but they love the concept. They just badge right onto the bezel. It's clean, it works, and it's less cable management, it's less headache. So that's a huge trend we're seeing, and we're seeing an uptick in that for sure.
So how's the show been for you anyways?
Show's been great.
Yeah.
Show's been
a
great.
lot of traffic.
We've had a lot of traffic. Kind of those things I mentioned, specifically the portable monitor and then our healthcare all-in-one. They've gotten a lot of foot traffic coming over to take a look at them. That's been kind of cool. We have a pretty good location this year, which I think helps, and so a lot of people moving through. And of course, it's always good, being a former IGEL employee and being in the industry. It's almost like a nice reunion here. It's got that smaller feel.
Yeah.
And like and you guys probably know this better than anybody. You go to these other conferences, they're very large. It's hard to get. You're herding cats. Here, it's probably the right size conference. Not too big, not too small. You get a lot of quality time. You can actually, if you're the customer, you can walk around and ask people whatever you want to ask them, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of noise. There's not a lot of chaos. It's just a nice conference for, customers and vendors alike.
Yeah, we always enjoy coming to these shows and catching up with old friends and people that we've known. One of the things that's unique to these IGEL events is that EUC has had such a long span where people built careers around EUC, where other things kind of come and go, but EUC has kind of been here to stay. So I find that interesting. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And before I let you go, where can people go if they want to find out more information about LG and some of the things you talked about today?
Yeah, appreciate that. By the way, pleasure's all mine. I shared with you before we got on here, I've been watching these for years. On LinkedIn and social media, so it's kind of cool to be sitting here talking to you. You can find out more information. Anybody wants to find out more, lg.com/business. That's our business, all of our lineups from digital signage, robotics. There's all kinds of different things in there, but specifically, you can find all of our IT products on there too. So lg.com/business.
Okay, it's been a pleasure.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it.